I want to say hi to all the students that I've taught over the years and every single individual that I've worked with. I want to apologize to you first for being so abrupt and taking my website down and not answering calls. Each one of you has been a highlight in my heart, and so I want to tell you what I've accomplished also on more of the professional basis, like working with Diane Sawyer on her program, being on Phil Donahue, Regis Philbin morning show. Then after that, it was Melissa Etheridge, the rock star, her show. Then it was another Beyond Chance TV show. Then it was dozens of news programs.
There is an unspoken language between people and their pets, especially if they've been together for a long time. The same intuitive sense that you may have with one pet, some people claim to have with all animals. Professional pet interpreters like Samantha Khury get astonishing results.
I'm usually the last hope. The average person comes to see me because they don't know where to turn. This is their last hope.
She's like a translator, is how I would describe it.
People seek out Samantha Khury when the special bond between pet and owner seems to be breaking down. She's part pet psychologist, part sounding board, and claims that her psychic connection with animals is so strong that she can often communicate with a pet even when the owner cannot.
And I worked with Cebu, the African elephant, and also Maya, a 75-year-old elephant. That was the San Diego Zoo and the Wild Animal Park.
It was her work with the elephants at the San Diego Wild Animal Park that first brought Samantha's talents into the national spotlight.
When I realized that I was in the presence of a very intelligent being, it was overwhelming for me.
Zookeepers were astonished that Samantha knew things about the elephants which were not public knowledge, including the recent death of one of the herd.
When it died, they took the body and they moved the body away. The elephants didn't even get a chance to touch that body or that form.
The elephants at the animal park had never participated in this type of mourning ritual, and Samantha told their zookeeper that this was the source of the problem. They wanted to grieve for their friend in their own way.
He just said, well, I kept the skull for some reason, I don't know why. Would that help if I put the skull in the compound? So he had done that, and then they let all of the elephants out the next day. And he said that he had heard 3 or 4 enormous cries, and then they worked all day to take and separate the tusk from the skull. And once that was done, it was as if something was listed throughout the whole herd.
Then from there I got a call from Alaska, the state of Alaska. The Fish and Game Department called me. They're having a big bear problem. The bears are even walking into the hospital. And so I went to Alaska to work with the bears, and that was overwhelming that the Fish and Game Department wanted to know how to work with their bears. Their method wasn't working. From there, I was called Sweden. The farmers needed help. They wanted to know other ways of working with their calves. Then the next one came in, and the next one came in.
But let me tell you in advance that the zoo has used this woman to communicate with their animals. And it's all she does for a living. She's been doing it for 16 years.
The woman in our next story is an example of how some people are experimenting with alternative ways of solving problems with our pets.
Samantha Khury believes that communication with animals is a whole new frontier. She says most people can learn to communicate and relate better with their pets. No stranger to the animal world, she has worked with many famous pets, including the Dobermans on Magnum PI. She says the secret to animal communication is sending clear visual pictures to your pet.
To do it. Everybody daydreams. And if you're good at daydreaming, you would be excellent at talking to the animals.
How did you first get started communicating with the animal kingdom?
And I started working extra long, traveling a lot more, doing classes all summer long. Many times the classes or the Some classes were free, some of them, they were private sessions that were free. It was my service. I didn't realize that it would affect me. The financials would affect me much later on in my life, because that's not where my heart is. And I kept going and going and going, and I was working these long hours, ignoring the signs of my body. Started with a small little fatigue, and I would push past the fatigue. Being a Taurus, I'm bullheaded. And I kept going and kept going. Then I got Hashimoto's, and I was more exhausted. And I ignored that first big, huge sign. We went to Brazil, and I saw John of God. And it helped my body, but it didn't change my attitude. I kept ignoring the signs again. Instead of taking a little bit of a sign that said, hey, slow down, your thyroid's burnt out, I ignored it. And I kept going and going. One more person with a need, one more class, one more student. And then my lungs gave up. A year on oxygen. And then the fatigue got even more so that I couldn't do much in the house, or talk to anyone, or do a class, or do a private. And when that hit, I thought the dream was dead. That's when I wanted to die. That's when I shut you down. That's when I took the website down. That's when I gave up. I've always been a private person in two areas: my finances and my marriage. My marriage was going down the tube when I was sick. My son had a serious back injury, was fighting a lawsuit, and he has cancer now. My daughter was mentally ill. So it was giving me a real good reason to say, hey, God, I want out of here. When you line your thoughts and your body together, you will leave. I had to change the thoughts and align to a greater purpose. I changed my thinking. I started short little walks in the backyard, putting my feet on the earth to do my prayers. I went and got acupuncture twice a week, and I changed me. And then the next thing that happened is a bigger dream came forward, the dream that I dreamed as a child. I started rekindling that dream, and that's why we're here today. Now, I know I can't do this alone, and that I'm not supposed to, though I believed that I was to do it alone. In this part, when I was told, you come home to your heart, I started working on my book more. And I've got 9 chapters completed. The 10th chapter is almost finished, and I have one more to do. And I believed that it was through the books, through this book and the next book, that I would have the funds to buy a home and to build an institute for interspecies communication. And that's why I'm here asking. I need your support to help me find my home, to buy it. And more than that, it gives me the ease to finish the book and to build the Institute for Interspecies Communication. And that's where you come in. We become a partner to change what's going on in the world. We need to find ways to teach love, respect, kindness, and goodwill. And I believe that through the Institute, we can do that. I want you to have the skills. And why I want to leave you that legacy is because of a dear doctor friend of mine who had an enormous amount of skill and knowledge, and he died with that knowledge. It didn't get transferred. And I used to think of what a waste. He was so skilled. I do not want that to happen to me or you. I want to leave you my legacy. I want to see that institute just move. I want you to take my hand and we'll move into the future together. We'll change what's going on in this world. Bring love, kindness, and goodwill back. The children are waiting for us. The animals are waiting for us. I love you, and I look forward to meeting you.